Welcome back to another edition of the Mental Diamonds podcast. I'm your host, Charles, along with my co-host, the coach, and Phil. This week, it's week 2 college football. Despite the NFL starting tonight when we're recording it on a Thursday, we are still talking college football. A lot of games to discuss, a lot of things to break down from last week. So sit down and take a listen. Okay, folks, we're back after our first full week of college football. Week 1 in the books. We all had our game picks. Let's talk about that first. Coach,
Some was not so good.
Yeah, I didn't do too well. I'm not going to start off with it. Coach, you start off here 8-2, look pretty sharp. Phil, you go 7-3, disputed 7-3. I still have you down at 6-4, but we'll talk about it later, I guess, off mic. And then I went a 4-6. So just kind of a really, really stupid start to my year of college football picks. Just how's everybody feeling going into week 2? Coach, you got to feel pretty good, I imagine.
I mean, some are born great. Some have greatness thrust upon them. And then some just achieve greatness and eat glass. And so, this is not new territory for me. I'm used to being on the top. I'm excited to keep it rolling. And I hope you guys can join me up here because the weather is feeling good.
You went 8-2. Coach, you didn't go undefeated. I mean.
What'd you go, Chuck?
No,
4-6. Oh, my bad, Chuck.
Moving on here.
Honestly, this week I feel like I could go over pretty easy.
Yeah. These games are not the worst picks to pick from when we get to the end of the episode, but there's a couple toss-ups, really.
Yeah.
Someone didn't update the rankings, by the way, on a couple of these teams in here. It's a little bit embarrassing.
Tim from the truck, I think.
Does Tim changing that to that blue font help you guys out?
No, Tim changing it from blue font makes me think someone's hacked us. Throws me off. Makes my brain hurt. No, but wait, Coach, I saw something fun for you. If anyone remembers, in week 0, we were doing our first game picks of the year, and someone was going on and on and on about a team, even though he picked against them in the end, but he was going on and on and on and on about it. And it was the UConn Huskies. UConn Huskies suck. If anyone knows anything, they suck. They have sucked so far. And by the way, their coach he's gone. He's out.
Hands in. Oh, nobody.
Nobody gonna give it.
Okay,
we'll keep moving. He was supposed to retire at the end of the year, and he decided it was announced Sunday that he would leave by the end of the year. And I think it was either Monday or Tuesday. It came out by the end of the day, he was gone. By Monday, Labor Day, he was gone. So now UConn is with an interim head coach, 0-2, complete dog crap in this start to the 2021 season. And Coach, sure glad you didn't pick him that first week, even though you went on and on about him. You came to your senses by the end and you didn't pick him. And it's a tough break for the Huskies. I know you're a big fan.
It's I'll admit I was wrong. They had me full training camp. They looked really good preseason practice, but when you're really bad and you're going up against bad people at practice, sometimes you can look better than you really are.
Yeah.
And so I think that was the case when I went up there and scouted them and got some
when he invited you personally to practices and stuff.
But I will attest that might be the worst FBS football team I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, they're horrendous. They're absolutely horrendous.
That was a bad call on my part.
No debate whatsoever. They're pretty bad.
Is that a foreshadowing to your biggest surprise this week?
Yeah.
That's just apparently that was supposed to happen. So even though it's been a surprise to me, I think both of you guys probably could have predicted it. So based on the grief you gave me.
Let's just move on from that catastrophe of explanation from Coach 2 weeks ago, and then just the whole program itself up there in Connecticut. They're a basketball school. They are the definition of a basketball school, clearly. But let's get into our first questions for the week. Week 2, we're done with week 1. And what was your biggest surprise last week? Someone wrote in here on the sheet, and I have to agree with him. And I'm going to start with you then, Coach. Who was your biggest surprise of the week there in week 1?
The biggest surprise for me would be the North Carolina Tar Heels. To be honest with you, Chuck, if you hadn't have picked Sam Howell to be your Heisman favorite, I probably would have picked him. I expected a lot from him. I really thought they were going to come out. Not necessarily they were going to blow out Virginia Tech, but I did not expect a poor showing, and especially by him. I mean, Sam Howell, 3 interceptions, I believe. They got shut out in the first half. It's just embarrassing. I mean, just because the offense is supposed to be so explosive. And so to me, that was just the biggest shocker is this team, where they ranked, how high were they ranked? 10. And so that's just the biggest shocker for me is they looked awful. And it wasn't like it was against a stud team. It was Virginia Tech. I mean,
we'll get into that, but Virginia Tech ain't no slouch. Hold on a second.
They ain't no stud team.
That ain't no stud, but they ain't no
Still
slouch.
shouldn't have happened. Still shouldn't have happened.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Didn't somebody have them in their Final Four, North Carolina?
I don't know. I think this has to be the worst start for me for a college football season ever. My picks suck. My Heisman Trophy pick sucked.
Bad.
Final four, one of my final teams sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, what the living hell? I don't get it. I don't get it. We're moving on here. Phil, who was your biggest surprise of the week?
I want to go with the Georgia Bulldogs. You had an old school defensive game. I mean, we don't see those much anymore. We see those shootouts, 30-something to 40-something games. And Georgia and Clemson, they swapped blows for a while, just defensive stop after defensive stop. And, Georgia got the pick and scored, and the Georgia Bulldogs holding the Clemson. Hey, Zach, how many rush yards did Clemson have?
I have no idea.
23.
Two.
Two
rush
yards. You don't have Travis Etienne anymore, so
2 rush yards. Only 178 passing, so 180 yards total offense. Woo!
I'm glad I didn't put Clemson in my Final Four.
Well, it's still early. It's still early, but the Georgia Bulldogs did look pretty good.
Golly, they're my Final Four too.
We're getting there, Chuck.
Oh my God. I don't even want to talk about that segment now. This is stupid. Yeah, I think my biggest surprise was North Carolina, but another one was really Iowa and Indiana. I did not pick Indiana. I had more faith in Iowa, but I didn't think Iowa was going to kill them like that. And they smoked them. Phoenix did not look good. Indiana does not look good like they were a year ago. It's a little bit of a shocker, I think, to start off the year. People, I don't think in their right minds believed Indiana was going to be great, but that was still surprising. Iowa looks like a competitive team right now, but it's a pretty loaded Big Ten right now, I have to say. But I agree. North Carolina, oh God, that was dumb. It was really bad. It was really dumb. And then I didn't watch the Clemson Georgia game because I was driving back after wasting an afternoon driving out to College Park, Maryland to watch West Virginia get smoked. Even though it was a 6-point loss, it was more like a 15-point, 30-point loss because we looked horrible as well. But let's just not even talk about that. And while we're on it here, let's talk about our college football playoff picks. Just briefly, we have our picks. Obviously, I went with Oklahoma, Clemson, North Carolina, Ohio State. Pretty rough. Oklahoma didn't look good against Tulane. Coach went with the usual suspects, Alabama, Oklahoma, and then Penn State and Miami. Miami gets smoked. And then Phil with pretty much the best choices.
Do I not get any credit for having Penn State in my Final Four?
No, they lose to Auburn next week.
Penn State looked incredible.
They lose to the Tigers next week, baby.
I was wanting a little bit of love from you guys. But
they look good. They didn't look incredible.
Incredible. Defense. Incredible.
Okay. And then Phil goes with Oklahoma, Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson because he read it in a football season preview magazine. So
I just took the teams that are in every year.
Yeah, just change the order around.
Well, you can hate on me all you want, but I want to say my 2 Heisman picks look a lot better than either one of y'all. So
that's true. Spencer Rattler, Matt Corral, he looked pretty good. Matt Corral looked great.
Both over 300 yards passing.
Corral looked better than Rattler, really.
Well, I am on the bandwagon. Don't worry. I talked to Lane yesterday. He's feeling a little bit better after his COVID. He says still a little bit before he joins the team, but me and him talking on the phone, he's starting to feel a little better.
That's good.
Me and Lane drained.
That's good to hear. He looked he looks skinnier. He looks better than he did when he got there.
He has been on a diet. I've been telling him about my fasting plan, and I got him on that. He doesn't eat till 11 every day. He stops eating at 7. Cut back on afternoon activities a little bit.
Yeah. That's good.
I've been helping him out with it.
I think you're doing a really sharp job. Could have done a little bit better on the COVID protocols there, but
I mean,
shit happens.
If him get it or one of the players, he could actually coach from home, but the players can't play from home. So,
took the bullet. I guess he took the bullet. That's
that's what a real team leader does. That's what I explained to him. We talked about it.
Yeah, I remember you teaching us this philosophy in class back when I was in high school, and I've carried these philosophies. My training and my way to take a bullet like a team leader. I've taken those to heart too. So carried those with me. Lane Kiffin's just now getting to the party. I've been in this party for a while. So, but Coach also had De'Aaron King. Had no idea how he did. Coach didn't care to put down his statistics. He put down Bijan Robinson, the running back for Texas. And,
is he going to play this week? Is Robinson okay? Did he get hurt?
No, he's playing.
Okay.
He looked good.
He got hurt, right?
I don't think he got hurt.
I don't think he did.
Everybody else did. Michigan's running back did. Minnesota's running back did. Minnesota's running back is out for the year.
He was looking good too. That was a good game.
Yeah, he looked really great. So they look good. Our Heisman Trophy picks, mine is a little rough around the edges there with Sam Howell. Breece Hall looked horrible for Iowa State. Iowa State didn't look good against Northern Iowa. So overall, just don't listen to my picks right now. These are just horrendous. But let's go into question number 2. What are you looking forward to most this week? Phil, let's kick it over to you first. What are you looking forward to?
Mine is 100% selfish. I will say I will lead with that. I'm excited to see my Auburn Tigers on TV. They weren't on TV last week. The Harsin era has began. Mike Bobo in the different offense. Bo Nix looked good. Tank looked good. The defense looked good. I mean, they were playing Akron. Okay, we got Alabama State this week, but they are on TV, so I get to watch. I didn't last week, so War Eagle. Let's put up another shutout, or let's put up a shutout and get ready for Penn State next week.
That is awful. That is awful.
Give us something good. What?
Edit that out of the recording, please.
I'm really excited about West Virginia playing an FCS team too.
Yeah. Woo.
All right.
I mean, I'm just still stunned. I was expecting something good from you. I'm looking forward to see Texas play at Arkansas. I thought Texas looked good against Louisiana. Hey, the big game on the road. They had some momentum. Running game looked good. Bijan had over 100 yards rushing. Even though it is a slouch, it is Arkansas. It's still a SEC team on the road. So it's a big game to keep them. It ain't Alabama State. It's not Akron. I mean, it is. If you're going to play a donker, at least play a crappy SEC team.
Yeah, too bad we couldn't get Syracuse on the schedule.
Hey, you don't want them bad boys right now. My. You don't want them bad boys. Anyway, I'm excited for Sark to go to Arkansas, keep the momentum rolling.
Both these choices are so good to choose from. Wow. I mean, yeah, really, really good. I'm really looking forward to Syracuse playing Rutgers. Woo! 2 p.m. on Saturday. Woo!
Let's go.
Carrier Dome gonna be rocking. No, I'm looking forward to Ohio State. That Ohio State-Oregon game, I don't think it's gonna be the best of games, despite Oregon being a top 15 team. It's more just watching Ohio State, because I watched the Ohio State-Minnesota game, and Stroud looks fantastic at quarterback. And then they have Mayan Williams, who is one of the best young running backs in college football right now. He was fantastic. Really, really good. Took a lot of reps away, I think, from Master Teague, who's the veteran running back for the Buckeyes. So I was very impressed with the way Mayan Williams is. So I'm looking forward to Ohio State. I really am. I get to watch that game through its entirety before going to the West Virginia game at 5 p.m. at home against Long Island University, an FCS school. But other than that, pretty excited about this stuff. It's, Ohio State looks good.
Bad? I could care less about the Ohio State Oregon game. They just say, even though it's two highly ranked teams playing, nobody really cares about them because it's a Pac-12 school.
Yeah, no one cares. And I think because Oregon took a minute to get past Fresno State last week, that's another reason. Yeah. They're a little concerning after that one. But now let's go into this. Upset alert. Who is on upset alert this week? Week 2. Coach, start us off.
All right. Texas A&M, 17-point favorite at Colorado. Buffalo. I'm not sure I would pick them yet as a straight up winner, but it would not surprise me if Texas A&M got upset on the road. The high altitude. Colorado only allowed 20 rushing yards last week. I think, it could cause some problems for the Aggies players. A&M's on my upset alert.
So I'm confused. Are you? Who's going to win that game?
I don't know yet, but we're on upset alert. Texas A&M is on upset alert.
But if Texas A&M wins, are they on up? I'm confused at who's winning.
I'm not. We're not. This is not a picking a winner or loser. Who is on upset alert? Texas A&M is on upset alert.
Okay, I was confused there. Well,
I'm not going to be surprised if Colorado wins. Let me put it that way.
I'll look through all the games this week, and I text you guys. I struggle with this. I just didn't find any upsets I really liked. So I told you guys, and I asked, and well, you kind of gave me a split opinion. I kept reading everybody's picking Pitt. I think a bunch of people are leading towards Pitt over Tennessee. I'm taking Tennessee straight up. I got Tennessee winning. I hated on Tennessee earlier in the year before the season started. I watched them this week. They go fast. I don't know if either one of y'all watched that, but don't blink. They're kind of like my Ole Miss Rebels, and they're going fast. And they look pretty good, so I got Tennessee over Pitt. Chuck's going to say that's not an upset, but I still think it is because a lot of people picking Pitt.
Legally, I have to say it's not an upset because of West Virginia Pitt. Are you kidding? I have to say that. Pitt's never in a position to be upset because they're never good. It's just the thing. That's how it's
I
gotta go.
that.
But I also don't think Tennessee beating Pitt would be an upset. My teams, my upset alert, Utah, BYU. Utah playing on the road in Provo against the BYU Cougars just gets to me. BYU is always a tough team to play on the road, and Utah's 21st in the country right now. They're not a highly ranked team, but still, that could be a very good game. Utah is only a 7-point favorite, so that's a competitive game that I think could go down to the end. And I like BYU in that one. I do. I like that. I like the Cougars, Mormons. They're going to pull off an upset, I think. But if no one has anything else to point out, add, look forward to, highlight, anything along those lines, let's get into our game picks to wrap this up, heading into Thursday night football between Dallas and Tampa Bay. So let's start off. Pittsburgh at Tennessee. Phil, who are you going to go with if you really come down to it? Who do you go with? Completely upset, doesn't matter. What do you want?
Still got Tennessee. I got Joe Middleton, ain't that his name? Transfer from Michigan, came in, running the offense.
Joe Milton. Milton.
Yeah, he looked good this way. I don't know if y'all watching that. I watched a good bit of it. Like I said, they're going fast. They're getting their plays in. I got Tennessee beating Pitt. Tennessee Vols.
I'm on the same train. Tennessee gained 326 yards last week on the ground. They only allowed 32 yards on the ground. I think they're going to control the ball. I like Tennessee here as well.
I agree. I got to go with Tennessee. Milton looked good last week in his debut for the Volunteers. So I got to go with Tennessee. I think it's in Knoxville. I think that's a pretty surefire choice. Coach, you start us off now here. Utah at BYU. I put the Utes on upset alert. Who you going with?
I'm gonna ride your coattails again. I'm going with the Cougars at home. I think it's a hot pick right now. I think BYU was one of the top underdog teams last year, and had it been a full non-COVID season, BYU could have made some noise in the long run. I think even though they lost Zach Wilson, I still think they're a good team. It's going to be exciting. Home game, ranked team. Go Cougars.
Phil.
I got Utah in a close one. They've won 9 straight, and they make it 10 this year. 10 straight over BYU.
I've already made my piece about Utah and BYU. I got to go with Cougars at home, Provo. Always a dangerous place to play.
Jimmer Fredette going to be flipping the coin?
Was that?
Jimmer Fredette, is he flipping the coin?
No, he's actually singing the national anthem.
Oh, gotcha.
Going to be a beautiful rendition, I've heard from the people in Provo. This is bigger than the 4th of July for them out there. Jimmer coming back to town. So I got to go with BYU, though. Big time game for the Cougs. I think they're going to pull it out. Phil, kick us off here. Texas and Arkansas. Who are you going with?
I got Texas in the Sark. Texas in the Sark going to keep rolling. You got the Heisman hopeful, coach's pick over there. I think Texas rolls. Arkansas is not real good.
Coach.
Obviously, I'm going Texas here. Texas is almost jumping Oklahoma in my playoff prediction. I'm riding the Longhorns hard here. B. John Robinson may have 250 yards on the ground.
I got to go with B. John Robinson. Whatever the hell his last name is.
It's Robinson.
You guys are screwing me up with these names now. B. John Robinson. I got to go with Utah. I got to go with Texas. I'd never like Arkansas. It's always disappointing when they're out there in Fayetteville. Got to go with Texas. Coach, Oregon, Ohio State. Hit me.
I don't want to pick them, but I'm going to Ohio State. I think Oregon's overrated. I think it's like we talked about it a minute ago. They barely squeaked by Fresno. Home game for Ohio State. I'm not sure they cover the 14-point spread, but Ohio State's good. I mean, that's just the reality of it. So I'm going to say Buckeyes.
Phil.
I got Ohio State. They got probably one of the best defensive lines in the country. They're big. They're back. They got one of the best receiving crews in the country. They got that young quarterback. He struggled in the first half last week, but if you watch the second half, he looked like a different quarterback. I mean, in the first half, I was hating on him, but in the second half, he played great. I think he continues that, and I'm not real sure how good Oregon is.
I got to go with the Buckeyes. I already like C.J. Stroud at quarterback, but I've already mentioned his name. Mayan Williams, the running back, takes off a lot of pressure off that freshman quarterback's shoulders. I got to go with the Buckeyes. I'm too convinced that they are just a legitimate national title contender. Final game, the Cy-Hawk rivalry. Iowa State battling it out in Ames, Iowa. Hawkeyes on the road against the Cyclones. Coach, who are you going with?
There's just something weird about this game, Chuck. I'm not. I think Iowa looked way too good last week, and there's just something to be said about that. Something scares me. Something's going to happen. Something's going to happen. I'm going with the Cyclones, Iowa State. I'm sorry. Breece Hall. Breece Hall. Yeah, Breece Hall, I think, is going to have his breakout game that you kept thinking he was going to have last week. I think Cyclones are going to win.
Phil, finish us here.
I got Iowa State winning at home in a defensive battle, a low-scoring game. It's going to be a close one, but Iowa State.
I think Iowa State ends the losing streak in this rivalry. Matt Campbell gets another signature win at the helm of the Cyclones. I got to go with my boys in Ames. Iowa State wins it. That's it, folks. That's it. Game 2. Preview in the books from the Mental Dynasty podcast. Coach, me, Phil. Another fantastic podcast episode. Anything left to add, gentlemen? Coach, you're going to tell us what channel we can maybe find Syracuse playing. Phil, you're going to tell us where Auburn's playing? I don't really know.
SEC Network, baby.
Okay.
Syracuse, Rutgers, 2:30 p.m. Central Time, ACC Network. I also want to give a big shout out to Chuck. I think his picks are going to be really good this year since mine or his are exactly the same. So,
this is on. We got it now.
Big props to Chuck for making good picks this week.
Either I go really deep into the hole this week and take you with me, or we rise above it and we're doing pretty good.
I feel good about it.
Fantasy football, everybody got their roster set.
I have nobody playing tonight, thank God.
Before you do anything, you got to go on and read the newsletter. The newsletter's A+. It's going to be on the website tomorrow. Go check it out. Whoever wrote that, probably one of their best pieces yet.
I agree. I agree. Well, gentlemen, this has been another fantastic episode of the Mental Dynasty podcast. We will see you next week.